I met a gypsy.
Remember what I was saying? It's not about me. It's about the athlete identifying what they want. I don't care if it's being 2 seconds faster a lap or being a mile an hour faster on a bicycle. Identify those first and build a program around the person, not about the trainer. So here you have dad. He just is enamored by the idea of having some champion kids at any expense, even if he's the wacko dad, and we all know he was. Like you say, becomes even the mockery of it, right?
Yeah.
The thing that I always think is interesting is you have an uneducated person. I don't know what his degrees are, but in regards to what it takes to become a champion, that is in a system that loves you when you win, will ostracize you when you lose, and then they have no rudder on their boat, that when the system cuts them off, they're out there floating around and don't know what to do. And then you see the drug addiction, the alcohol abuse, and all the other dangers that come in. You know, when AC got went into the pro class, I got a call from a foreign magazine that said, "How's AC going to do?" I said, "I'll do great." I said, and I thought this was a pretty cool journalist. He said, "What's your biggest fear for him?" And I said, "To be honest with you, my biggest fear is what happens when he has his first injury." Because the whole time I had him as an amateur, the only bone he broke was his coccyx bone. He looped out, and he broke the the right where your butt is at. And it's not like you cast it. You just literally don't sit, you know. And I always said my concern would be is if he ever becomes too frail, because I always worked on him trying to bounce, not break when he hits the ground. It goes back to strength and functional flexibility. I didn't know what he was doing with his other trainers. That was none of my business. He moved on, and I had to respect that. But then he goes and he bounces off the wall in that European Supercross and cracked.
Dude, I was right there. I stood right there when he crashed.
Whiskey throttle.
Mate, I cannot tell you how good he was riding.
Yeah.
It was, I was filming that race, and I wasn't filming, dude. I was watching him. I was going, holy fuck.
Watch this.
Adam Cianciarulo is doing some James Stewart shit right now. Like he got a bad start, and he was like coming through I think he went down in like the first turn or something like that, where he come through the pack. I've never seen a dude ride the way he was riding.
That's awesome.
It was incredible. And then that crash, you can just you know when like the way that they moved and fell, and then the way that they stayed on the ground,
not good.
You could tell it was bad, and he was properly hurt. But I was so devastated, man. I stood it was an on-off section, I'm pretty sure, and he clipped another dude, and then he whiskied, like the guy kind of it's like he clipped his arm, forced him to roll that throttle on, and then just looped out, all super awkward. And I was at the start, and it was the section that come on, and I was just gutted because the way he was riding that motorcycle was just phenomenal. And I'd been to Alden's a bunch, and I'd been doing filming him do motos. Never seen a kid ride like that. It was so insane. I was so devastated for him.
Well, the thing that I think is so interesting goes back to the Michael Essie dad situation. What did he do to build resiliency? I'll give you an AC story that falls right in line with why I felt AC would be fine if he could learn how to deal with he got all the baby Jesus and all this other stuff. I got news for you. The kid earned everything he got. The fact that Mitch invested in him was just a business decision, but he wasn't, they call him baby Jesus. I thought was uncalled for because the kid worked his butt off and he was extremely talented. And my only concern was, would he have that resiliency and not lose focus? Because he'd never, I don't care to anybody. Like I was saying earlier, you got to look backwards to look forwards. Until you break an arm and go through a cast in the rehab, you don't know what it takes to get through that until you go through it. I call it the familiarity principle. But AC's dad took him down to a track in South Florida, and they live up in Port Orange, a couple hour drive down, maybe 3-4 hours even. And they got down there, and what Alan's thing was is AC had to pack his gear bag. Alan would put the bikes in the van. This was on Super Minis, but AC had to pack his bag. They get down there, and Adam had forgotten a glove. And so Alan said, well, you obviously don't take this serious enough. You need to bag your stuff back up. We're heading back home. And Adam was in tears. Dad, no, I'm sorry. He says,
Alan's pretty hard, dude.
Alan he's an accountability guy.
Yeah.
And he said to him, look, you just lost this day to be 1% better than everybody else. And if you can't pay attention to those types of details, then how are you going to pay attention to the other? And I think it comes back full circle. He's teaching him those hard lessons instead of keeping him in a bubble, thinking that he's better than everybody else. He's entitled to all this stuff. And I'm not comparing AC's dad, Alan, to Mike's dad at all.
Yeah.
But I'm saying when you do get hit with adversity, and when Mike started to fall out of being that, that mini kid sensation with his own Honda commercials and everything else, where's the kid going to go? He's so used to everybody doting all over him and rolling out the red carpet and all that. But then all of a sudden a few injuries and a couple wrong decisions with your, whether it's people yelling at DeCoster and, things don't go well under the awning. But the bottom line is Adam, I think, it has always been. Christy, his mom, and even his sister, as much as they joke about him kind of being kibitzing with his sister, it's a very tight-knit family.
Oh, they're super
close.
Super
tight. But they teach him life's lessons. I mean, drive. Can you imagine as a dad, you just drove 4 hours down?
They seem like a normal family they're together. That was something that I always, I noticed straight away. Like you hang around with Tony and Jeff and Mike, and you're like, that's not like healthy. A normal thing that they're going on.
Yeah.
But you get around with Alan and Adam and that family, and even though they're at the track, they're like they are a normal family. There's a dynamic that goes on that isn't like this. I just don't think that I've never got the sense that Alan has ever looked at Adam as like this meal ticket kind of thing, or we better protect our investment.
Right.
Like that's a vibe that I've never got off them.
That's right.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.